The biggest part of his speech yesterday at the custom headquarters launch, the headquarters launch, the 19.6 billion naira customs headquarters opening yesterday, the commissioning, is that part has become the most extracted part of the speech. The speech in itself was just about 6, 7, 8 minutes or thereabout, but that seems to be the leading part of controversy, if one would think about it in some sense. He also spoke yesterday through Zoom, and during the second Niger Bridge Commissioning. I'll just bring a small part of that also for you to listen to some of the things he said with regards to that.
This is Morning Crossfire.
To fight poverty, to create economic growth and employment, and to open the path of prosperity for our people. I am not oblivious of the concerns and debates about our stock of public debt. Those concerns are legitimate and in many instances well-meaning. Many of the debts are tied to projects and are transparent and verifiable. What I have not heard enough of is the truth about the wealth and prosperity of many nations, especially post-war Europe. That wealth was built largely on infrastructure and on debt redeemed over decades. Some of the projects are commercially self-liquidating.
This is Morning Crossfire.
President Muhammadu Buhari also speaking about the debt level in Nigeria and his view about it. He believes they're good debt because somehow, somewhere it will pay off in the future. And Nigerians will appreciate the fact that was done in such a context. Meanwhile, the Labour Party, members in the National Assembly also have a perspective with regards to the 10th Assembly leadership. The Labour Party says they have their doors open to anybody who shows interest and requires the kind of support that they can give.
This is Morning Crossfire.
8 elected distinguished senators and 35 House of Reps members. You know we are the minority. The party and indeed the leadership of the party, which is being led by His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi and the chairmanship of Barrister Julius Abure, have not decided or taken position on who to support among those vying for the position of the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. However, we have briefed our members and we have given them the cardinal points and our area of concern, where we wish to have a purposeful leadership in the 10th Assembly.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Okay, so there you go. That's another part of the whole speed. And by the way, I'm streaming on YouTube if you want to go on and join me on YouTube and on Facebook at this time as well. The Peter Umba's Enugu governor-elect. Now, it seems trouble is really stirring up around his inauguration, if I would say. A new group have come out to say, well, the NYSC should manage this situation better, especially because it has to do with NYSC certificate forgery, in which the NYSC DG yesterday, I played for you what they talked about, and he said, well, we know how a real certificate looks like. We also know what a fake certificate looks like. We showed the governor-elect how 3 original certificates looks like, but then things are not coming off because he's taking on the court process. Take a listen to a movement as well. Here in Abuja, they did meet and provide a perspective to what they really want next in terms of getting this out of the way.
Mr. Peter Amba who is bent on bullying the scheme for being courageous in defense of truth. Instead of accepting that the certificate was forged, as it clearly is, he has resorted to politicizing the situation through frivolous court cases and unnecessary drama aimed at winning public sympathy and presenting the NYC as a dubious institution. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, credible intelligence at our disposal has indicated that the governor-elect and his party, the People's Democratic Party, are plotting together with their cronies to sponsor civil society organizations to embark on dastardly smear campaign against the scheme.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Save Nigeria Movement, this is what this group is called, and they essentially say they're representing the interest of the NYC with their own viewpoint on this, and saying, well, pretty much the governor is out of position, or governor-elect rather, is not in a position to say so much so like he has gone on to mention. And that was Solomon Semeka, is the convener of the Save Nigeria Movement. He's of that opinion alongside with others. Oh, here's another thing you may want to listen to. It's the advice coming from Senator Shehu Sani, right? It's been speaking about the transition, right, between Buhari and Tinubu. What's it like exactly? His concern is that somewhere between that transition is also a trap. Why does he think so?
This is Morning Crossfire.
Buhari has spent 8 years in office. And there are two paths to which you can use to measure his achievements. One is putting his own track record in comparison with the one he inherited, and also tallying what he promised and what he delivered. These are two indices. Now, when I tweeted, my tweet is to reflect what is going on presently. For a government that has very few days to live, a lot of things seems to be happening when they should be wrapping up and then working towards a handover to a president-elect who is from their party. But they seems to be doing things which they ought to have done many years or many months ago. At this very hour, you see them awarding contracts in billions of naira, and then they are also sourcing for loans from outside of the country. They are issuing out appointments and employing people and engaging in all sorts of things, which to me, I see it as a trap being set for the president-elect, which is Tinubu, as it is clear. All these last-minute engagements by the president does not seem to go in good path, because spokesperson after spokesperson, they keep telling us that we will miss Buhari, we will miss this government, we will wish that he is in power, as if they are handing power to Labour Party or handing over power to PDP. And when you say we are going to miss the president, when you say we are going to miss this administration, you are more or less predicting doom or telling us what we don't know. So I am saying this last-minute engagement and involvement and activities of this government does not seem to be one that can be said to be with good intention.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Do you agree with him, Senator Shehu Sani there? He also did put up a series of tweets around his handle at Shehu Sani. He said, and I would like to read this one. This one really gets my interest. It talks about the outgoing federal government is hurriedly concessioning public assets. The nation is kept in the dark on the terms of these deals. The National Assembly is nowhere to be found on this issue. Years after, the so-called investors will sue Nigeria in London courts and will be threatened with judgment in billions of dollars. Buhari's people are not making things easier for his successor and Nigerians. Do you agree with him? Are you in the same association or in the same park with him with regards to what could possibly happen? Or are you with him on this? But he explains that tweet and quite a number of tweets around this where he talks about this transition is not as easy as it appears to be. He also shows concern about commissioning that is going on. He talks about a satellite commissioning of about $2.5 billion. He's concerned about that as well. In some sense, it provides perspective to that. And he says, well, everybody should know, let's get this right. This is not as it appears. Yes, 2.5 billion naira, I beg to say, was budgeted for in 2022. And he talks about so many other factors here and there. And let's get your views in. Let's take some calls now, and of course some calls after the break. But let's start off with some calls now. The lines remain the same. You know the numbers. Oh, in case you do not know them, 0700-951-0000. If you're on WhatsApp as well, you can join in. We have the telephone lines on 080-999-30137. Regular numbers, okay, fine. 080-959-74869 would also do us fine. Let's check in with you and your thoughts on this. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show. Glad you joined in. This is Morning Crossfire with Family Life.
Yeah, family, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Ekwa Pekin from Amale, Niger State.
Oh, great. Welcome.
The transition is not as easy as we think, he said. Why will it be easy? Why they make it an affair that is do or die? Last week, I remember when the federal government said nothing can stop the inauguration. So why will it be easy? You shouldn't have even think it's easy. This man actually here, he was saying things that he achieved and did not achieve, things he do that he did not do. As far as I'm concerned, he did nothing. Let me not just second Niger in play. They just do what they want to do because last time I checked, he was not the one that started the second Niger bridge. So he's taking somebody's role as far as I'm concerned. When they were inaugurating the, how do you call it?
I'm sure somebody else would also take his own role. I mean, the Ibadan Expressway, I'm sure that's been commissioned by the next, the incoming government. I'm sure somebody else will feel comfortable doing it as well. So, glory take glory give.
Don't just take the glory now. You remember the other people that started too.
That one day,
what they did. Koya.
Okay. All right. Well, it's one way to say it that way.
That's supposed to be my brother.
Okay. Thank you, dear friend. All right.
God bless you.
God bless you. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Doctor, from the Live.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
Fine. Nothing below like the news.
Oh, yes, and I can prove it.
Yeah, thank you. You are doing well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is Ojo, the next president.
All right, Ojo, just step away from your listening device, please.
All right, thank you. Yes, concerning the outgoing president, honestly speaking, some of the things that the administration is carrying out now, for me, is very, very wrong. It's not good enough.
Okay.
How can you be requesting for loan at less than 72 or how many hours at the end of your tenure? It doesn't speak well of you in any way. There's no way they will want to speak it. That everybody will.
Oh, just call does not stay true. Bello Tulokpa from Dawaki says, nothing like silent achiever. Success is something that is obvious to the eyes to see. You can never cover up success. If you don't announce it, it will announce itself. You don't even need a announcer to show your success or achievement. All eyes can say it. Bello Tulokpa writes it in. Also, reading this or the message. Now, okay, just getting this. Buhari kept, okay, just a moment, please. Okay, Buhari keeps rather maintaining that he will retire to Niger Republic over and over again. I hope that is not what I'm thinking, that the man is not the man. Buhari will systematically, secretly return home without leaving any traces. Yaya from Askam is theorizing on that as well. Mary from Gogolada says, good morning from the Buhari's speech that he closed the border to enable Nigerians grow food. Please tell him that while the borders were closed, right behind him, bags of foreign rice were freely carried into Katsina. Perhaps he didn't know as usual. I also want to ask the president whether he eats native rice in his house. Where are the rice pyramids? We are still waiting for them to flood the market so that the prices will drop. I just the waka pass, so make himself waka, retire for him. Mary from Gogolada is of that opinion. I've got more messages, more calls to take after the break. Stay with me right here on Nigeria Info.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
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 Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria 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 Info.
Yeah, it's raining. Everybody knows it's raining, so be careful. Don't overspeed. Wear your seatbelt, okay? Make sure you can see properly, at least a reasonable distance before you choose to travel along. No speeding. The grounds are slippery. The portals are filled, and every other dynamics and things that you know will be going on. Please make sure you know about that. And if you're stuck in traffic right now, just look at your neighbor and smile. Let me sound like a pastor. Say to your neighbor, neighbor, I can't hear you. Neighbor, we're in this together. All right. So let's do that, okay? We're in this together. Say that to your neighbor. I believe you're saying that. And if you're not saying that, I'm sure you guys have broken out in a smile. And if you're in traffic with somebody you do not know and gridlock, possibly in a public ride, smile at each other. You people need it. It's one thing to be sitting. You know the third seat in the cab, right? When you're sitting in the back seat, there are 4 people at the back. The guy who is the third person, which is likely the... Let me describe this accurately now. The back door to the right, you're the guy sitting second, that from back door to the right, you'll be second. From the back door to the left, you'll be the third person. It's that guy that suffers the most. You lean forward a little bit in between the two people at the back, in between the two people in front, and every other person's elbow and arms are just by your side. So feel free. If you're that guy, we dedicate Bele to you this morning. All right, well, keeping up with other messages, Idoko from Cuba says, Buhari is arguably the best president to have ever come out of Nigeria, in my opinion. Nigeria today is still a bit ahead of countries facing recession due to low oil prices from 2014 to 2015. 2014 to 2015. Oil-dependent countries like Venezuela, Argentina, and others are selling and are yet to recover to the point where Nigeria is right now. Always comparing Rwanda to Nigeria is funny. The economy of Lagos alone is bigger than that of Rwanda. It's better to compare Nigeria to Pakistan, Indonesia, India, and the likes. That share similar challenges, else it becomes a business argument. Insecurity and other economic challenges is more a global phenomenon. Even the U.S. is having a fair share of gun shooting in the last 2 years. Idoko from Cuba writes that in. Okay, good morning, Femi D. Emmanuel from GYA. I want to say I heard that the Supreme Court will deliver judgment on the case of double nomination for Vice President-elect on Friday. How true is it? Are there plans to declare Friday public holiday so that the Supreme Court will not set? No, there are no plans to declare it a public holiday. Yes, the case will be looked into this Friday, from what I understand as well. So let's see how that plays out eventually. It will be looked into, okay? Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, welcome.
This is Dr. Wale Pasha.
All right, good to have you on.
President Buhari has tried his best. His best may not be good enough for Nigerians. But we should be happy that the incoming president is well experienced. He said his slogan is Renew Hope. People that are not aware of that Renew Hope, it has to do with Children to Abiola Hope 93 that says farewell to poverty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that I'm alive today to witness the inauguration of the new president on the 29th of this year, because of this month, because I have to be one of the vanguard, and Tinubu also was one of the vanguards for the actualization of interest. He knew very much about Abiola's plan.
Yes.
To get away poverty in Nigeria. We should be hopeful and be prayerful that by the grace of God, in the next 6 months, things will change in Nigeria. I hope those who are having negative thoughts about inauguration of the nation change their mind and hope for the better. That is my prayer. Nigeria is going to be the best place, and I have been saying it, we have all the resources to pushing the effect of even the amount of loans that are gotten through this government. If we harness all the resources God has endowed us with, you see Nigeria will be the best place to go, and all those jackpots will turn to Nigeria.
All right.
The antecedent of the president.
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes.
It's called Jackpa. It's called with full mouth. Jackpa, not Jackpa. Jackpa. It's the act of escape. All right. Thank you so much, doctor. I'm grateful to you this very morning. Oh, yes. Thank you so much, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, and this is the renewed hope, or some sort of part of the hope, because Hope 93 was a campaign of Moshood Abiola then, and a little bit of the sound of that was like this. Yeah? Do you remember this?
For this problem, for life, no work, no food, no house, no life. The small water, then they bring now so dirty, they pull them. The small money, they get now social transport, they chop them. School low, na headache, hospital, no work, attire for life.
And the rest of the campaign from the year 1993 goes on there. Yes, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Dr. Femi Diamele. Abakar Kolem from Gwagwalada.
Oh, yes. Welcome.
Thank you. Have President Buhari performed opportunely? Has he impacted positively on life of Nigerians? Are Nigerians better off than in 2015? Most of the legacy projects they are pointing hands at. Have this project had direct bearing on livelihood of common Nigerians? Where is the rail project? Some of them, they are not still. They are not working because of insecurity. How many millions of Nigerians are killed? Are displaced, I'm sorry. And thousands killed. So, President Buhari has not done well.
Okay.
He has performed woefully. That is, and if we that have contrary view are expressing our opinion, it should not be labeled as a wicked thought. It's not a wicked thought.
Okay.
It's about nation building.
Nation
and
building.
He too, I pray he will not withdraw to his own cocoon. He will assume nation building.
You mean withdraw to his own home?
Yes, because that is his bane. During when he left Papa as a military, he withdrawn to his cocoon. He don't play the role of
home, please.
Role of nation building. Obasanjo continue doing. That is his bane as a former president.
All right.
I know he will pursue international diplomacy. They take part, they play active role internationally.
Okay. Well, let's see how that goes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Interesting. But humans stay in homes, not cocoon. Okay. Just to be sure. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Femi.
Yes.
Jim Haruna.
Jim Haruna, welcome.
Thank you. So, I just want to speak on the issue of naming the second Niger bridge after the president.
Okay.
President. So some people have argued differently. I don't know where they get it wrong, where they think is wrong for the second Niger bridge to be naming after Buhari. Even if it starts, if it doesn't start, government is a continuum. So there's many projects started by this administration that when the next government comes, they will complete it, or they will still go ahead and do something about it. If they decide to name it after anybody, there's nothing wrong about that. I don't know why the cry is coming from. Then for somebody to say this president administration has not done anything, I don't know where they live, whether they are still living in the moon or living alive. So since 2015, most of these people argue that this government have not done anything are the same people when this government comes 2015, they never believed, never see anything good about him. So with that, they will never. So we that love this country knows the government have done a lot of within their own means and within selling the face when they come into power. They have tried their best, and we appreciate them, and we are proud of the president. And when he retired, he will be going to Katsina. Then most of especially either in Katsina, he'll be in Kaduna. So talking to Niger, going to Niger, I don't know where it is. It's just a joke. It's just a joke at some point that if he gets stopped, he will go to Niger. He has never traveled out of this country after he retired from as a head of state. So I don't know where they are getting it from that he's going to Niger or whatever.
Okay. So well, what he said, so that I guess that's where they're getting it from. And well, sometimes he insinuates these things, and it turns out to be so. When he said, "I belong to everybody, I belong to nobody," people thought it was just a nice thing to say, but he really meant it after all, didn't he? Okay. Well, let's read up some more messages this very morning. Good morning. Buhari knows he has done so bad for Nigeria. That's why he's seeking. That's the word asylum, according to Pulant from Buhari. He says he's seeking asylum in Niger Republic. I don't think he's seeking asylum. Asylum is when you're being chased away, but he's not being chased and he has no reason to feel so. And he's just staying away from the politics of the day going forward. I think that's the point he's making clear. Patrick writing, he says, there's a there's no need arguing with callers who see nothing good in Buhari and so do not have or are not bothered to follow his achievements, load and network, and are free to remain governed by their limited knowledge of what he has done rather than what he has done as he leaves office in few days. Records do not lie, especially the records of fiscal achievement. When they eventually settle down to do a compendium of what Buhari has done with what other leaders past have done, it will be clearer to everyone and comparatively so that he has far outdone the records of many before him, especially on infrastructure, which he practically heaped the loans of his time on and which he has repeatedly said are self-liquidating. Records do not lie, just as time tells. Patrick writes that in. more messages now. That says, Ebuka from Aberdeen writes in. It says, Buhari asks Nigerians to go back to the farms, and a good number of people who did were faced with kidnapping and destruction of their farmlands. That's according to Ebuka from Aberdeen there. Thanks for your message. Good morning to you.
Good morning, World Class Dr. Frank, the MLA. My phone call connected more than 70 times this morning.
I see.
My name is Abubakar Leke Tinubu Pekin, calling from PW Kubwa. Permit me to start by reminding Minister Adi Sirika, Minister of Aviation, that we have 5 days to go. We are still expecting Nigerian Air. And as it is, most likely today or tomorrow, the Federal Executive Council will be dissolved. So please.
It's today. It's due today. The solution is today. And talking about aviation, so I do know over 20 directors or thereabout have been replaced, right, in the aviation sector. And more and more other officials.
All right. Our own, make he bring that Nigerian Air because he says it is sacrosanct. Is that not what he said last week or last 2 weeks? So he should not leave that place without fulfilling that promise. And on Senator Shehu Sani, I agree with some of the things he said, and I disagree with some of the things he said. The aspect I agree with him is the aspect he said where the president's aides, where media aides were saying, we are going to miss Mr. President. We never prayed, we will never miss Mr. President. Don't pray that Asuwaju government will make us to miss Mr. President because, as he rightly alluded, they are already spelling doom, and we will not doom. Doom will never follow Bola Tinubu administration. And the other aspect is talking about president appointment and the rest. Mr. Femi D, if Buhari decides that on May 29 is not leaving Aso Villa, do you know nobody can bundle him to Eagle Square? And the Nigerian armed forces will only respect him. Only him will take orders.
Yeah, but it's different. So the law says he loses his power as the president the moment it's May 29 and the inauguration is on. In fact, what we call an handover, if you notice, the outgoing president is allowed to speak, and what surely follows after that time is just a simple process in which the inauguration, or should I say, the swearing in of a new president will be done, and it's always done, irrespective of whether the person going or doesn't like it or not.
If he did not handle that, if he did not hand over that white, navy blue, red flag to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, is the only person military. No, maybe you can do more investigation.
I tell you. Okay, well, let's leave it at that with you. But I do. Abubakar, just to mention, remember that the military part of his duties is just a component. Okay, the main part of his duty is the president. So what Constitution recognizes is the president and commander in chief. So all that other parts about his military handover is important, but it doesn't take away the democratic need and mandate that will be done. I've got to let you go now because there are people in the studio with me waiting to talk to everyone.
All right. Go and make money for us. Thank you.
All right, let's make some money this very morning by speaking to the team from Easy Care, and they're here with me this very morning. Good morning, ladies.
This is Nigeria Info.